Is a FPV-POWER hybrid supercapacitor / lithium iron phosphate battery. So the weight of it is 6.7 kilos. As you can see, not heavy at all. The case size is a NS70, standard size case, NS70. And you can see this is a prototype on the 10th of August. The 10th of August 2020. And so this is going to be a solution for a direct stopover. And with this supercapacitor, it has the cold cranking amps, or even just amps that you can discharge at 1,900 amps. So whatever you can throw at it, if it's under 1,900 amps, this thing can. What is a supercapacitor? Number one, the supercapacitor that we use is a Maxwell Technologies American company, and this is a 16 volt 500 farad supercapacitor. Disregard the farads; it can get confusing by with the numbers, but this can dump 1,900 amps. So what we've done with these is we've chopped it in half, folded it over, and T-welded the bus bars, aluminium underneath, and repackaged it, and so it fits nicely into one of these. So what's in here can also be seen in this form, where it's the individual components, whereas people can buy individual 16 volt supercaps from us. It's only this thin, as you can see. And we also have a package where we also sell a 25 amp hour 12 volt lithium iron phosphate battery. So this battery is all inside here. So there's one of these supercapacitor in half, in a block configuration, so it takes up about 2/3 of the space, and then the 25 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery sits inside there, of course without the case. So this we also sell individually, just the battery by itself with the supercapacitor. So this is all available for you to DIY. If you don't need the battery, you just want to get the supercapacitor and parallel up with your existing batteries. Whether it's AGM, lead batteries, you benefit from extending the life cycle and also holding maximum power when it's called upon. So keeping the power output as high as possible for cranking and so forth, for even winching in four-wheel drives. But yeah, your cranking high-powered solution right in front of you. Maxwell Technologies, American technology, with the latest lithium iron phosphates, and all-in-one into a all-in-one box, 6.7 kilos, or in separate components for you to DIY. Or if you don't need the lithium iron phosphate batteries, just pick up the supercapacitor on its own, and we do charge a service fee if you want us to chop it in half and have it in a block, so you get a block-sized capacitor instead of a 1x6 row. You get it with 2x3 rows. Can you see that? We chopped it in half, bend it over. To recap, the high current discharge is taken care of by the supercapacitor. These batteries, the lithium iron phosphate batteries, or your AGM batteries that are paralleled with a supercapacitor, do not see any of the high cranking amps, as you can tell by such thin wires that we use to parallel them up. So this takes all the grunt, while this only keeps the supercapacitor voltage full, because a supercap will drain over a couple of days, where then you get a situation where the cap in your car, with a lot of newer cars, a lot of parasitic drain, and you end up with a flat capacitor. So we don't use a capacitor by itself. We parallel it with either with the existing battery, or with a small lithium iron phosphates, and it's very, very light. The supercapacitor is 3.2 kilos, and then there you go. You have a system where this is taking the grunt, this is just keeping the voltage happy, full all the time. So the situation on this, how does it actually work? Let's say this is fully charged, and you left it sitting in your boat, and you don't charge it for a year. At 12 point, let's say she's sitting at 12.4 volts or so, 12.4, 12.6, and then you leave it for a year without even charging it. Guess what? She would drop like, less than 1 volt, maybe 0.6 volt. And that's all she would drop. And leave it for 2 years, it might drop, 1.5 volts. So in other words, the voltage holds very well. Unlike a lead battery, you don't touch it for 2 weeks, the voltage is going down. For 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month, you basically, killed a lead battery. So off you go, buy another one, try charging it up, but then it's already, over discharge. Whereas with these, they will sit happily all day, all year, without the voltage going down. And even if you do leave it and drain it to zero, so for example, if you leave your lights on your car, yes, you will drain, the supercapacitor will drain at the same level as the battery, so that they're in parallel, so the voltages will go down together. But because the battery, the lithium iron phosphate, has a BMS, battery management system, at low voltage, at the safe low voltage, the BMS will cut off power on the negative side. So that means it's disconnected, it's protected. The BMS has protected it, and therefore all you end up is with a flat capacitor, and your car can't start, which you'll be in the same situation whether you have a supercapacitor or you have your own normal lead battery. And of course, you can always jump start it, or you can charge it with a normal car charger up to voltage, and then use it thereafter. So nothing changes much as far as the usability, but the benefits and the technology increases. As the benefits is just amazing. It does not self-discharge, or it does very, very low, very, very slow, and the capabilities of 1,900 amps when called upon is all handled by the supercapacitor. The battery, whether it's this, whether it's your AGM that you have parallel with a single cap, does not see the cranking amps. So the benefits of starting, so that means whenever you crank your starting lead battery, AGMs or whatnot, flooded gel, is not seeing any cranking amps. Therefore, you are extending the life every time you crank. Break down on how it charges and discharge when you crank an engine over. So these two terminals here, the positive and the negative, is the same as an individual component, so we can actually see it. Positive, negative. So these two terminals are actually the same as these two terminals. So when you've got your car engine or your outboard engine, or any engine for a matter of fact, connected to this, you put your key in, you crank it over. Let's say, for example, it's a very big diesel. It's a V12, 12-liter diesel. You crank it over. Let's say 1,000 amps, 1,500 amps gets pulled out from here. Guess what? The battery has not lost any of its energy, and when the engine starts and runs, the alternator is spinning right away, and it's already charging the capacitor. The energy that it has lost, it will be charged back within 3 to 4 seconds, tops. Is fully charged. That's why in the video following, you can see me crank an engine, a 2.8 liter diesel. I can crank it 20 times in a row. Start, stop, which you'll see later in the video. But so how it happens in real time is you crank it, the voltage on this drops. Before this voltage can even drop, the alternator has already charged back up, because there's not a lot of energy stored in these capacitors. But what it has, it can dump, boom, just like that. And it replenishes just as quick. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the old girl, 1994 Toyota Hilux. It's a 2.8 diesel, and everything's original. We've changed the rocket cover gaskets. Of course, we've changed the starter motor, but everything else, it's stock, and it's done over 500,000 Ks on this. So this is that's my DIY project that we've put on this for many years. But now we're going to test our hybrid battery, and my cameraman here is just going to hold the camera. Can you just hold it right there at that angle? That'll be good. I'm just going to crank it, and you see what it does. Here we go. Right, fire away. Third time. And let's try fourth time. Let's try fifth time. Let's try sixth time. Try seventh time. Let's try eighth time. Let's try ninth time. And one more to make it a round figure. Maybe one more. 11th time, we'll try for the 12th time. Try the 13th time. Let's try the 14th time. Let's try the 15th time. Let's try the 16th time. Let's try the 17th time. Let's try the 18th time. How about 19? Okay, 20th. And we're just going to let the capacitor charge up. Yes, the leads are warm, not hot, but warm. Everything else is cold, no temperature whatsoever. So that was 20 times cranking the old girl. It's a 2.8 litre diesel. There we go, Hilux 2.8. And mate, 20 times cranking a diesel engine, yeah, can't get better than that. And I reckon I could do more, but as you know, I'm running out of time, and yeah, so here we go.